Country finds itself in a precarious place this evening. A former president and current Republican frontrunner Donald Trump appeared in court just a few hours ago, pleading not guilty to all 37 federal charges that he took and mishandled sensitive secret material and then obstructed a federal investigation. Trump has consistently denied any wrongdoing and maintains that he was entitled to have those documents. He said that the prosecution was politically motivated and vowed, if reelected, to retaliate against President Joe Biden. NBC sources say that after a motorcade trip to the courthouse, Trump was fingerprinted and then filled out some court paperwork, but did not get a mugshot taken. Now, we did not hear from the former president inside or outside that courthouse, though he did stop at a Miami cafe before then flying north to his estate and golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey. That's where he is scheduled to deliver remarks tonight. Here's what one of his attorneys said after the arraignment.
We have seen the rise of politically motivated prosecutors who don't care for impartiality, who don't care for due process or equal protection of laws. They have been quietly but aggressively cultivating a two-tiered system of justice where selective treatment is the norm.
Trump's lawyers asked for a jury trial during today's arraignment. Joining me live now here tonight is Michael Kracker. He is the Erie County GOP chair. We appreciate you coming in. We wanted to talk to you about the presidential race, and then, of course, the timing here is what it is. So I would like to start out here asking you about today's arraignment, and just specifically, maybe just you personally first, how these federal charges factor into who you support and how you will support or not support Donald Trump.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I would argue today is a sad day for America because I think, as Trump's attorney just said, there is a two-tier justice system in this country. Here you have charges that are brought against President Joe Biden's top political opponent. Meanwhile, he has gone uncharged for his handling of classified documents himself. You have the Hunter Biden scandal that's been lingering out there for years without any serious investigation, to say nothing of the former First Lady, Senator Hillary Rodham Clinton, who had all sorts of investigations that never materialized into charges. So I think there are a lot of Americans who are feeling very frustrated that there does seem to be selective prosecution under President Joe Biden. But I think this is actually going to energize Trump's base, and it's going to play a role in the presidential primary. You see the president's rivals really coming to his defense because I think they're fed up the same way most Americans are about this sort of bifurcated justice system in this country.
You acknowledge the seriousness of the charges, though, right? And especially, I think the Hunter Biden case is a good one because there's a lot of evidence out there, and it's been so long, though it is a Republican-appointed U.S. attorney who's investigating that. But when it comes to Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden, the circumstances are very different, right? I mean, Trump's own State Department did 2 investigations of Hillary Clinton and basically cleared her, right?
Well, certainly nobody's above the law, whether that's President Trump, President Biden, Clinton, anybody. Nobody's above the law. So it's fair for there to be investigations. But what I think the American people are being frustrated about is the sense that it seems that there's been a weaponization of whether it's the Justice Department or the Manhattan District Attorney's Office to go after Donald Trump, which is something that the Democrats said they wanted to do from day one of his presidency. So it seems like they're making good on a commitment to go after a political opponent using our law enforcement, and I think that is a grave concern, not just for Republicans, but I think it should be troubling for many Americans. These are polarizing times, but everybody should feel that they're going to get a fair shake from the Department of Justice or our local law enforcement.
Looking to 2024, we were talking during the commercial break. Republicans would not have control of Congress if it weren't for New York Republicans, right? They far outperformed the GOP across the rest of the country. And normally we don't have a huge say in presidential primaries because our primaries are later in the calendar. There has been this push, and it passed in the state legislature, to move the primary up to just less than a month, but to April the 2nd.
Yes, right? April 2nd.
April 2nd. How significant will that be in New York Republicans and many of our viewers watching right now having a say in this?
I think it is a big deal. Certainly you mentioned, the red wave really only landed here in New York, where we elected a historic Republican delegation and delivered a Republican majority for Speaker McCarthy. And I think the National Republican Party has recognized that. So there's going to be a lot of attention paid by the RNC and the other organizations out of D.C. in New York State. and I think we're in store for an exciting Republican presidential primary. We also reverted our elector rules back, our delegate rules back to 2016. So New York's no longer a winner-take-all state, which is good, because I think it also is going to force the candidates to travel the state. You're not just going to go to the population centers, but you want to spread out across New York to compete for our delegates across New York.
The conventional wisdom has been that a crowded field helps Donald Trump because he is the front runner right now, right? You win a few of those early states that are winner take all, and the race is essentially over. Do you think other states should follow your lead in New York and do more of this proportional allocation for delegates so that it's not, you know, win a few early states and game over?
Well, first, I would acknowledge that we do have an outstanding field of Republican candidates. Obviously, President Trump leads the field at present, but we still have about 7 months before the first votes are actually cast. But I think it's a testament to where we are as a party that we have so many exciting Republicans who are willing to step up and run against a very weak president. But yeah, I mean, obviously each state does what they think is in their best interest. Certainly, you know, you and I talked about, I wouldn't mind being in Iowa and New Hampshire shoes where you really get to get up close and personal with these candidates at the early states. But I do think it is good that New York Republican Party took the steps to make us relevant and make sure we are going to see, and I believe we will see, significant campaigning. You remember 2016, where you were down to Donald Trump and Ted Cruz, and they were both on the ground. They both did events here in Buffalo. Donald Trump had a big rally down at KeyBank. So I expect we're going to see more of that. Obviously, we don't know who will still be in the race come the lead up to April 2nd, but I believe those who are still in it will be touching down here in Buffalo.
I've only got less than 30 seconds here, and I went out of order in my questions, so we may or may not be able to put this on the screen. But some poll numbers from Siena College. It's the most recent poll that we have in New York State, and you can see Donald Trump's favorability rating, 67 to 27. He wins more than a majority of Republicans if the race were today. Do you think that holds up as fast as you can here?
I certainly think when I talk to Republicans, which I do every day, that seems to reflect what I hear on the phones and in town hall meetings like this. But there's a long time before votes get cast.
That's a great point. Why are we always jumping ahead to the next election, right? Man, we just had one. Michael Kracker is the Erie County GOP chair. Thanks for coming in.
Good to be with you.
Yeah, thanks.